This is CBC Here and Now.
I never dreamed I'd have the opportunity to give back here in my own country.
I can't wait to get there. I just want to be part of it. I want to help.
Team 2 on the ground in Ontario,
helping overwhelmed healthcare workers during the third wave.
Fairly quiet weather over the next day or so. A little bit unsettled across Labrador, but the next weather maker moves in on Thursday.
The province's opposition leader is calling on government to come up with a plan to prioritize paving some of the worst roads in this province.
It's a reality that they've got 10,000 potholes and nobody's prioritizing in advance what needs to be done.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. Well, for the second time, a local medical team left the province today bound for Ontario. Those workers will help relieve exhausted healthcare professionals who are dealing with a soaring caseload of severely ill patients.
The CBC's Mark Quinn now with that story.
Nurse Michelle Murphy is one of 7 medical professionals on her way to Ontario today. Back in 2010, following a powerful earthquake, she joined Andrew Fury and Team Broken Earth on a medical mission to Haiti. Murphy says this time, before taking off, she had to check in with her 3 sons to see how they felt about her traveling for work again.
Well, I sat them all down and I said, guys, Ontario's called for help, and I need all of your honest opinion, how you feel about me going. And their immediate response was, "You're not asking us, Mom, you're telling us you're going." And that was true.
Murphy and her colleagues left from St. John's this morning in this military aircraft. It's a Hercules C-130J. When they arrive, they'll be working in Brampton, Ontario. They say they're anxious to help and concerned about what they'll see on the ground.
I'm nervous. This is a new one.
Rideout has also been to Haiti on medical missions, but never thought he'd be traveling to Ontario to deal with a dire situation as COVID-19 strains the capacity of the healthcare system there.
I'm excited and I can't wait to get there. I just want to be part of it. I want to help.
When this team of 7 medical professionals arrives in Ontario, there'll be a total of 16 medical professionals from this province in that province. Premier Andrew Fury says it's uncertain if they'll send a 3rd team, but he did add that about 40 medical professionals from this province have come forward to take part in this program. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
So just what are those Newfoundlanders and Labradorians up against when they arrive? Well, let's have a look at the numbers. Today, Ontario reported 2,791 new cases of COVID-19. That's actually the lowest daily total in more than a month, 600 fewer cases than yesterday. 25 more people have died in Ontario. Nearly 2,200 people are in hospital. Nearly 900 of them are in intensive care. Today, the Prime Minister urged Canadians to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
The longer we wait, the longer it takes, the slower before we get back to normal, the slower before we get to drive down case numbers across the country. So everyone knows that we need to get our shots as quickly as possible. And I can reinforce once again that every single vaccine available in Canada has been approved by Health Canada as being both safe and effective.
Well, the number of COVID-19 cases in this province is up again today. There are 4 new cases, all of them in the Eastern Health region. 2 are related to travel within Canada, while 1 involves international travel. The source of that 4th case, though, that is still under investigation.
It was a lovely day today across the province. A number of areas reaching those double digits. 12 degrees in St. John's, 11 Marystown, same thing for Terra Nova. A little bit cooler for the northeast coast into the 8 to 9 degree range, but still beautiful. And then across Labrador, you're looking at those temperatures into the single digits and just hovering a few degrees, or a couple of degrees rather, above 0 for the coast. Now, taking a look at the situation right now, we've got an area of low pressure offshore, and we did see some cloud cover certainly move in this afternoon for most of the island. South coast, though, saw nothing but sunshine for most of the day, but lots of cloud cover up across Labrador this afternoon, and the winds were strong as well. Well, not strong, but still pretty breezy, 30 to 50 km/h gusts. In the St. John's area, we saw gusts upwards of about 60 this afternoon, but the visibility on the coastal Labrador is what I've been watching for the last little bit. Fog's definitely going to be the story as we head through the night tonight, as well as through the first half of tomorrow, as we see that onshore flow and some unsettled conditions. I'll get into all those details and the full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. A man's body was found in Gander Lake yesterday morning. No other details have been released, including the man's identity. Until the cause of death is determined, the RCMP is treating this death as suspicious. We'll continue to follow the story. And in other news, Phillip is back in custody. Yesterday, Pinn turned himself in at court in St. John's. The RNC had issued an arrest warrant for the convicted killer last Friday. The 35-year-old was wanted in connection with a theft at a business in the east end of St. John's. Pinn has more than 100 convictions, including the shooting death of Nick Windsor in 2011. He was released 2 years ago, even though the parole board found him at high risk to reoffend.
Well, police are investigating after a creepy close call for a dog on Bell Island. The RCMP says a man on Bashas Lane found his dog chewing on a piece of bread that was stuffed with cheese spread, shards of glass, and razor blades. And you can actually see those razor blades in that photo, which was released by the police. Now, this incident was reported last Tuesday at around 10:30 p.m. Police say the owner was able to remove the bread from the dog's mouth and that the animal was uninjured. Anybody with information is asked to contact Bell Island RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Well, the head of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary will step down this summer. The police force has confirmed that Chief Joe Boland will retire at the end of July. Now, that will mark 4 years since Boland took over the office. At the time, he came in promising, quote, the highest level of accountability. Boland spent the past 4 decades working his way up through the ranks of the RNC.
There's pressure on the Liberal government tonight to make changes to an all-party committee that's reviewing how elections are run in this province. The Tories, NDP, and independent MHAs are all demanding equal representation on that committee. Right now, there is a Liberal majority. The opposing politicians also want members of the public added. An independent investigator appointed to look into what happened during this year's election, and a final report tabled in the legislature by the end of the year. They met with the Minister of Justice today and presented what they say should be the terms of reference for the committee. In a statement from John Hogan's office, says the membership reflects the makeup of the House of Assembly, where the Liberals hold the majority. It goes on to say work will begin as soon as possible, but says other parties have yet to confirm which of its members will be joining the committee. And David Brazel says the provincial Liberals are passive when it comes to road work. Today, the opposition leader questioned why government isn't following recommendations to introduce a better system for road repair. Jeremy Eaton has that story.
On the side of a pothole-filled road in Portugal Cove, St. Philip's, the opposition leader says the lack of response from the government 3 years after recommendations were made isn't good enough.
It's a reality that they've got 10,000 potholes and nobody's prioritizing in advance what needs to be done. My issue here is the department are being reactive versus proactive.
Last week, the Auditor General report called out the governing Liberals for not following 4 recommendations made in 2017.
That would improve the tracking of road conditions, the approach to be used for prioritizing which roads needed to be done, and a process where people could actually identify in their own communities what the conditions of the roads are.
The report says if the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure is not adequately managing road work, road quality could be affected, increasing the chances of accidents and ultimately increasing the cost of repairs.
Right now we have $82 million worth of contract that's going on in this province. There's been investment in this province and contractors doing work throughout the province, so I don't think we've been ignored.
Loveless wants to meet with AG Denise Hanrahan about her recommendations, but he assures the public there is a tracking system already in place.
Internally, I believe we have a tracking system now that's doing a good job. Could it be better? Absolutely, and we look for room of improvement.
According to the report, Newfoundland and Labrador has more kilometers of road per capita than any other province. Just a few clicks under 2,500 kilometers. Brazel wants it to be clear to taxpayers which roads are selected and why.
Tell us what your prioritization process is, so people on the Northern Peninsula, people in Labrador, people on the Conagra Peninsula, people on the West Coast, everybody would have an understanding of what is the first priority, so the expectation would be there.
Until then, motorists will have to keep an eye out for signs like this one and an eye out for potholes. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Philip's.
Well, a new peer support program in central Newfoundland is connecting people with some very large and understanding animals.
The Stable Way introduces its participants to horses and other horse lovers in Grand Falls, Windsor. Here now's Garrett Berry explains why.
The road to recovery can be a long one.
Within the last year, I was diagnosed with PTSD. I was in a really bad car accident going to work about 5 years ago, and everything just kind of came bubbling up within the last year.
And sometimes you need some help. Some big help.
He's so calm, so gentle. He's like a big bunny rabbit.
Meet Buddy.
Yeah, big girl.
15 years old and 1,500 pounds. Since last summer, Rice has learned to care for him, ride with him, and feel comfortable around him.
Having like a 1,500 or 1,600 pound animal trust you, that you're going to keep them safe. They trust you and you trust them. It's amazing.
These days, she's spreading that joy. With Buddy and all the other horses at the Stable Way.
When we're working with the horses, I'll say, so the fact that this horse wants to be by you, you can see they're relaxing around you. It means that they trust you and they feel your confidence.
There's just something about these animals.
Horses live at the moment. They don't live for tomorrow. They don't think about tomorrow. They think about, do they have enough food right now? Are they in a safe environment? And if we can take people to help break their worry up, because they've been worrying all along, just give you an hour of learning how a horse does it, can help you start to change some of your way of thinking.
In the last few months, this support group has grown and grown.
Well, I think everybody right now is suffering. Every person in the world has some problem with everything that's on the go. So we found that the horses were helping us, and they all said, let's get together, let's put the program in that we want to help everyone.
Some benefits are obvious. There's time outside with new friends, but there's also some magic.
Well, we have seen circumstances where we've brought the client out to meet the horses, and then a specific horse will actually walk up to the client and nudge them and nuzzle them, and it's quite obvious that they want to spend time with that person.
And as for Rice, she and Buddy are just getting started.
I told Kathy that if she sells them tomorrow, I buy them, but long shot. And I already told my husband that we'll buy eventually. To prepare for that.
Garrett Berry, CBC News, Grand Falls, Windsor.
Plywood has gone from probably $21 to $65.
All signs are pointing to this lasting for quite a while yet.
Well, still ahead tonight, skyrocketing lumber prices.
What does it mean for your summer project or new home construction? An architectural eyesore with $1 million view. Why has the province left the Grace Hospital nursing residence to rot on some prime St. John's real estate? Later this week on Here and Now, urban disgrace.
Time now for a look at the weather, and it was a nice day in St. John's. At least it was sunny, but it was windy.
It was,
and that wind was cold.
Yes, it was. The temperatures were gorgeous today. We did reach a high near 12 degrees, but that wind cut you like a knife earlier today, or actually all day today, really. Let's take a look at the temperatures across the board. A lot of places reaching those double digits. 9 degrees though in Corner Brook. Same thing for Stephenville. And along the Strait, those temperatures reached about 8 to 9 degrees this afternoon. We're currently sitting at 10 degrees in St. John's, and the rest of the temperatures across the island have dropped down below the double digits, about 9 degrees in Gander right now. And we've got that temperature around 5 degrees for Lab City this afternoon. Taking a look at the satellite radar, not a whole lot happening. Clouds moved in as anticipated this afternoon for most of us. The south coast, though, absolutely gorgeous this afternoon with plenty of sunshine through the day. And as far as tonight goes, we're going to see those unsettled conditions continue for most of Labrador. The fog for the north coast as well. The potential for showers or flurries overnight tonight for central Labrador. Towards the west, that will fall mainly as some flurries, but they should be less numerous as we head towards midnight. The potential for showers for the northeast coast across the island will end in the next couple of hours, and we should see some clearing skies overnight tonight with those winds easing a little bit as well, down to about 20 to 40 kilometers per hour for anywhere in the eastern area. And then as far as Labrador goes, like I said, some more showers or flurries will be the story for you overnight. Temperatures will be hovering around 1 to 2 degrees for most of the big land. Towards the west, though, the temperatures will be a little bit cooler at -2. And then across the island, we're looking at temperatures anywhere from 0 to 3 degrees, but temperatures will dip a little bit below 0 for those low-lying areas. Winds generally light for the west coast. As we head through the day tomorrow, not a whole lot happening. It looks beautiful for most of the island. We should see plenty of sunshine, maybe some cloud cover to start the day for the northeast, but that should clear as we head to the afternoon. Probably going to see some cloud cover creep up into the afternoon, though, with some cloudy periods. And then across Labrador, unsettled through the day, mainly cloudy, but the potential for showers or flurries will stick around for most of coastal Labrador. Certainly for northern areas, you'll see that fog continue through most of the afternoon as well. Next system starts to edge in. It'll likely bring some showers late day for Lab West, and then change over to snow as we head into the early morning hours on Thursday. Temperatures tomorrow should be fairly nice. The winds will be out of the north, though, significantly less than we have been seeing for the past little bit, about 15 to 20 kilometer per hour winds. So anywhere really along the coastal areas will be much cooler than what inland will see, but it's looking like 10 to 13 degrees for the most part. May climb up a little bit more depending on how much sunshine we see. And then as we head towards central, similar temperatures, 10 to 12 degrees. Certainly along the south coast, you should see plenty of sunshine, but again, some cloudy periods expected as we head into the afternoon. For the west coast, northwesterly is about 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. We see gusts a little bit higher than that, but overall temperatures will be beautiful, 10 to 14 degrees with plenty of sunshine through the afternoon. The northern peninsula will be a little bit cooler, though. More cloud cover on the way for St. Anthony, hovering around 8 degrees. And then as you get towards the southeastern portion of Labrador, it will be unsettled. So cloud cover, showers or flurries, the story for you. Temperatures ranging from 3 to 7 degrees, and those winds again out of the north about 28 to 40 kilometers per hour. Snow or rain, the story for the north. Could pick up a couple of centimeters tomorrow, but your winds will be about northeasterlies about 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, then a little bit warmer the further south and west you get, about 5 to 7 degrees. But again, might see a few showers for Happy Valley Goose Bay, but overall looking at a cloudy day, and then the potential for showers or flurries as you head towards Lab West. Winds will be out of the east at about 20 kilometers per hour. So that's a look at tomorrow's forecast. Things start to get a little bit more unsettled as we head towards the end of the week.
Well, next we have something sweet for you. It's the next segment in our ongoing series, Being Black in NL.
Yeah, and tonight you'll meet the bakers behind Ronald's Delicacies, a licensed home bakery in St. John's. Here's our contributor, Aoife Alaba.
Hi, I'm Aoife Alaba, and this is Being Black in NL. Today we're going to be talking to the bakers of Ronald's Delicacies treats. Tell us a bit about how you started the business, what prompted you to start it, and why you started it.
What really prompted me to start the business was like when I was back home in Zimbabwe. I used to help my mother with like baking and all those things. So I kind of liked cooking.
Yeah.
So when I came here in 2019, I just decided to like start the business, and my first customer was here actually. So I started the business. I started baking for my roommates, and they kind of liked my stuff. So I then started selling to people. Then in 2020, I got my license, and I'm now able to sell at the farmers market and other cafes and all those places. Yep.
What is like the weirdest order that you guys have had to make that you guys are like you looked at it and you're like, I'm gonna do it, but this is so weird.
So I'm gonna be honest. The weirdest order I got was when someone wanted me to make a private part for a guy. So that's like the weirdest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not think that was gonna
And
go.
I definitely do not post that one for sure.
How do you feel like the response from the community since you started the business has been?
The response has been really good. I mean, we've been to the farmers market a lot of times, and sometimes we kind of sell out, and it's really like, it shows that like there's a lot of support from the community, and we get a lot of orders online. A lot of people asking us like, can you make these things for us 2 times, 3 times? So that's like really good for us for sure.
What do you think makes you guys unique from other bakeries?
We introduce like African flavors to our products, and we kind of make them more African than like just an ordinary Canadian baked good. We kind of also make like Canadian products for sure, but we kind of try to put the African side of our products as well as the Canadian sides as well. Like we kind of combine the two for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I would also say our pricing also comes to play. We're students, you know, and we all know it's really difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can't afford something, and someone will come to you and just be like, you know, I want to surprise someone, it's their birthday and I don't have that much money. And that's where we come in. We try to be understanding of people and their situations, and yeah.
How has your business been affected by the pandemic?
It's just all about we're baking in the comfort of our home, right? And then people just come in and get their orders, or we go and leave orders for people, and it's just leaving them by their doorstep, and they send the money through Interact. So we haven't been affected that much. I'd probably say we've actually gained a lot more support during the pandemic because people were at home, nothing to do, things are closed, they just want something sweet.
What does Black culture mean to you?
Things that we as Black community can relate to. It might be like art, dance, the fashion, the food. So like what the Black community can relate to and can like feel comfortable doing it, and that's what I feel like is Black culture to me.
For me, when I think Black culture, I think about our history, where we've come from, where we're at right now, you know, just the struggles and how it's brought us together as a community, and how now we have that pride of being Black that wasn't there before, and that's done through, like he said, the music, art, dance, whatever it is, yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Being Black in NL, and watch out for more.
How much did you pay for that sheet of plywood?
$73.
I think we're in for a rough year this year, and maybe even next year before it's all straightened away.
Well, just ahead, lumber prices are through the roof.
When will it end? A couple of experts give their 2 cents. Well, with spring in the air, you might be planning your next project, maybe from fixing a fence to putting up a new patio, well, maybe even something a bit bigger.
Well, when you go to the hardware store, prepare for some serious sticker shock because the price of lumber has gone through the roof, 3, even 4 times higher than they were pre-pandemic.
Yeah, a $100 bill will get you just a single sheet of plywood now. Art Hick owns a home hardware building center in Witless Bay, and he gave us a tour around his lumber yard and shared some sky-high estimates with us.
We're after telling people not to build, but people have to. People need their fences repaired. People need to build a home. You know, people need the shingle. They need to do repairs. It's just that it's going to cost them a lot more money. I just feel for them. Hi, my name is Art Hicks and we're at Witless Bay Home Hardware. This past year, lumber has gone up dramatically, and it's constantly rising. Every week we're getting new numbers and it's just keep increasing. Well, the customer last year were paying $3.39 retail for a piece of 2x4 pre-cut, and if we bring in more inventory, it's probably going to be like $13 a pre-cut retail. Locally cut in Newfoundland. 7/16 OSB is coming out of Eastern Canada. That went from like $13 last year to cost to $62 a week ago cost. Plywood has gone from probably $21 to $65. Probably 3 months for delivery to get, if we can get. Pressure treated, it's very hard to get, and those numbers have gone up dramatically as well.
Doing a bit of work on my boat, a sheet of plywood, yeah.
And how much did you pay for that sheet of plywood?
$73.
$73.
For a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood, yeah. Last year you get 2 or 3 sheets for that. Extreme, isn't it? I wouldn't want to build a house. I need to get it, so whatever the price is, you got to pay to have it. So I guess that's how it is.
It's very depressing. I've been at it now for 12, 13 months, telling people that, listen, material is still increasing. It's not nice. It's putting a different feeling to it. The pandemic is after driving it because shortages of workforce. People just can't go to work because of buildings, their staff are cut down because of the social distancing and of areas that got hit with COVID, and that just puts stress on everybody else. Some customers are putting off their projects because they just think it's crazy. Other customers, young couples that have to build, are just going to pay a lot more money, and I just pity them because it's not going to help those people at all. The younger generation, no, it's just making them cost them more money. I think we're in for a rough year this year and maybe even next year before it's all straightened away. And it could be even longer than that.
Wow, talk about sticker shock. Joining me now to talk more about the dramatic rise in the price of lumber are Grant Cooper and Alexis Foster from the Canadian Home Builders Association. So we just saw the change in prices, 2x4s quadrupling, plywood tripling in price. What has all of this done to the construction industry as a whole?
Construction is booming. It's still in high demand. People are renovating, people are still building new. They're taking on projects that I guess they haven't had time to take on before. So we're seeing a lot of activity happening this year that hasn't happened in a number of years leading up to this.
Can you talk about the reasons behind this dramatic increase in the price of lumber? Where is all of this coming from?
Well, it's really just supply and demand. What we saw was when the pandemic happened, the mills shut down in the States and here in Canada. The Canadian mills were able to get back up and running pretty quickly. The ones in the States still are not up to pre-pandemic levels. We're also seeing some issues around transportation, and shipping has been changed from rail to transport, which is causing the cost to rise. And of course the demand, we have people looking to do renovations to their homes, new home builds. You're in your home a lot more, you're finding out what's kind of bothering you, so you want to fix that.
What does this mean for contractors these days?
Yeah, well, we certainly don't have a lot of time on our hands anymore. It's been extremely busy. The residential rebate program did wonders for our industry in Newfoundland and Labrador. We had been hurt for a number of years leading up to this. It had been quite slow, demand was down. But since the pandemic started, I guess In May to June last year, things started to pick up, which it typically does in the summer, but this year was like no other. And we're starting to see more and more calls. We're getting more and more calls from homeowners that, despite the increase in prices, are still inquiring about work, getting work done on their house.
Well, we're seeing a lot of renovations here in the market, and a lot of that has been pushed with the residential construction rebate program that the provincial government put out. So it has been great to see overall throughout Canada. I believe it's up something like 26% for home renovations over the last year.
And what advice would you give someone who's looking to do a home renovation, or they're looking to build a new house? Should they wait, or should they just go for it?
I feel for homeowners that are struggling to afford to do their projects and the renovations and even the maintenance that they need to do. Someone looking to build their first home, interest rates are at an all-time low. They may be saving more than they ever have because travel is restricted. They're not spending the money that they used to spend, so this might be a great time to save up that deposit and put that towards the new build.
We don't know everybody's situation. We know some people are thinking about renovating or building their first home, and right now might work really well for them. Interest rates are low. It's a good time to borrow some money, and this might work out time-wise for them. And then we do know there are some people who are deciding to wait a little bit and try to see if prices come down. We don't see that prices are going to come down this year. It might not even be back to normal next year or pre-pandemic levels. So there's merits for both. We understand it's still a great time to build a home. We've got lots of great builders and suppliers here in the province.
I think for homeowners looking to do a project now, certainly do the planning. Spend the time on the planning up front. Things are going to be more challenging than previous years. I think it's more difficult. It's going to be more difficult going forward to get the product that was easy to get off the shelf. So lead times for fixtures, plumbing fixtures, electrical fixtures, the common hardware store goods might be in short supply. So I think planning your project and taking the time to do it properly is going to be a big key for homeowners going forward.
Do you have any sense of how much longer these price increases will last?
All signs are pointing to this lasting for quite a while yet. We may see a little reprieve in prices towards the end of this year, but it looks like the global pricing in construction has shifted and may never come back down to pre-pandemic levels. So this is something that we're seeing, and our national office is seeing lasting at least until 2022. And at the end of the day, it very much is supply and demand driven. And until demand comes off, we're still going to see shortages and price increases. So this may be the new norm going forward for quite some time.
So how might that change the decisions that people make when it comes to choosing what materials they use to build with?
I think it's going to leave a window open for some creativity. At the end of the day, I think if prices stay the way they are, and this is the new normal for construction, I think you're going to start seeing builders adapt and look for ways to be creative in how they build. At the end of the day, I mean, lumber is not going anywhere. It's in carpenters' DNA to use lumber to build low-rise residential buildings. But you may start seeing that shift towards other less expensive construction products that may have been previously more expensive than lumber at the time. But with the increase in lumber and the percentage that has gone up in that relatively short amount of time, has now made other products and construction methods more on par than ever before. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this at the end of the day.
Welcome back to Here Now. We're taking a look back this week at Fort McMurray, 5 years since the devastating wildfires there. Many residents there are asking what's next. They've fallen on hard financial times, fire, flooding, and now, of course, the pandemic. The CBC's Kyle Bax has this look at how the community is weathering some of the financial storms.
A few sandwiches are wrapped up for the first takeout order of the day. Mitchell's Cafe is one of the longest running restaurants in Fort McMurray. Even with loyal customers, the last several years haven't been easy. First was the wildfire, then the flood, and now the pandemic.
Fort McMurray is one of the only places who knows how all of those things feel one after the other.
Once called the economic backbone of the country, Fort McMurray has struggled since oil prices crashed in 2014. Housing prices are down, so too are the number of jobs.
I'm very positive that we eventually will get out of that. We'll continue our growth and we will get Fort McMurray back.
The downtown was hit hard by last year's flood, damaging about 100 businesses. Now, more than a year later, fewer than 50 have opened their doors. Still, hope and optimism are in abundance, even though many have had their fill of the misfortune.
Every year we say, this is our year, this is going to be our summer, but then we get the fire, we get the flood.
Surely, they say, the bad luck has to turn around soon.
Floods, fires, we're just hoping there's not going to be any locusts.
Still, Mother Nature may have other ideas. Local officials have spent at least $10 million preparing in case yet another disaster hits the community. Kyle Bax, CBC News, Fort McMurray.
Well, a year after a wildfire destroyed more than 200,000 acres of land in Colorado, some of those ashes are being turned into art.
Every time you opened a package, it was like, whoa, you know, it blows your mind how much talent's in this room right now.
Now, the packages are from artists who were sent pieces of burnt wood from that fire, and some of their works have just a speck of the ash in them. Others are created entirely from it. All 100 pieces are going to be auctioned off next week, and the money is going to go to 2 volunteer fire departments in northern Colorado.
In his first Canadian interview, an exclusive with Power and Politics, the head of BioNTech says he's confident that the vaccine will be approved for younger children. Here he is speaking with the CBC's David Common, explaining why he's not worried about future variants.
So far, we do not have any evidence that our vaccine would not work against any of the prevalent variants.
Which is amazing. Yeah, I was just going to say, it is amazing to hear that because, you know, I think in some ways I have this nightmare that we will get to a point where we immunize everybody with the various vaccines that are out there, and then some variant will pop up against which the variants are not effective. Do you have that kind of a worry?
No, not really. So we know, of course, that this virus is mutating, but this is not surprising. Viruses mutate and evolve. Yeah. On the other side, the mutation rate of this virus is not extremely high. So it is still, even though some of the variants have 10, 12, 13 mutations in the spike protein, more than 98% of the spike protein is still the same.
Meanwhile, India announced a grim milestone today. The country has recorded more than 20 million cases of COVID-19 and more than 220,000 deaths. That comes as countries try to help India deal with medical supply shortages. A U.S. military aircraft arrived in New Delhi today with more than 500 oxygen canisters, the latest shipment of aid from the U.S. That comes as a ban on direct flights from India to the U.S. went into effect today. Across India, millions lined up for the chance to get a vaccine, but some centers had to shut down because they ran out of doses. Government estimates suggest less than 10% of the eligible population has received a COVID-19 shot, and less than 2% are fully vaccinated.
A Saskatchewan man who has promoted traditional family values as a political candidate also runs a massage parlor that offers, quote, sexual encounters, and that includes a parlor that he runs out of his home. Jeff Leo has more now from a CBC investigation.
Trevor Woke is vocal about his political views, having run for the People's Party of Canada in the last federal election, promoting traditional family values. He's also publicly attacked the Saskatchewan government's handling of COVID restrictions and helped organize a protest at the home of Saskatchewan's chief medical health officer. But when it comes to the massage parlor in his own home, he's more measured.
There's a stigma attached to these businesses in town, and people don't like it. So I don't flaunt it.
Acting on a tip, CBC began investigating a massage parlor connected to Woke's home earlier this year. An undercover reporter, responding to an online ad, started texting a woman named Lily. In the course of the conversation, she offered the reporter sex in exchange for payment, and she invited the reporter to Woke's home on Victoria Avenue. In an interview, CBC asked Woke about that exchange.
Do you know somebody who goes by the name of Lily?
Yes.
Who's that?
That's my wife.
I thought your wife's name was Judy.
It is. Marketing, she's Lily. That's my wife, she's Judy.
Woke acknowledges his wife offered sex for sale, but he insists it was false advertising.
I can guarantee you, my wife does not provide sexual services.
Woke says he helps manage a dozen massage parlors in Regina, and he says they are being unfairly targeted by the city, which has deemed many of them to be places where sex is for sale. He says that's not true, at least as far as he knows.
I'm not in the room. I don't have cameras in the rooms. I can neither prove if they do or they don't.
City administration is getting set to enforce the new bylaw aimed at regulating so-called body rub establishments. But Woke says he's doing nothing wrong, and he's prepared to fight the new bylaw in court. Jeff Leo, CBC News, Regina.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, a young hockey fan battling cancer had a dream fulfilled. He got to meet his hero, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, sweet story. The 11-year-old met Crosby via Zoom, and it was all arranged through a Manitoba charity that grants wishes to children who face life-threatening diseases. But during the meeting, the hockey star took notice of something that the boy was wearing, which led to a special gift for both of them.
Yes, we'll let Dean's mom tell you the rest.
We kept the news from him not until that morning of the interview. We told Dean that, it was about to happen, and, we just wanted to keep it a big surprise, and he was just so amazed. Like, he couldn't believe that it was going to happen. He was so nervous, so shy. A few days before, Dean had asked me to beat him a Pittsburgh Penguins medallion.
Oh, nice. I see the crest.
I started beating it yesterday for him for his special meeting with you.
Oh, cool. Let me see it. Let me take a closer look. Oh, nice. Can you do some of that stuff? Are you able to make that stuff?
No.
No? That's all right.
Just my mom.
Yeah. Your mom can make it. You just get to wear it and show it off.
So after the interview, Dean had kind of made a statement saying that, I wish that you could beat Sidney a medallion, and wish we could give it to him somehow. And so right away I worked on it. It took me a couple of days, and we got it done. And then I just received the email this morning that he received it, and he, was giving Dean, thank you, and, for the gift and of being gifted a medallion, thanking him and everything for it. And so at the bottom was the picture of Sidney Crosby wearing it, just to see my son's hockey idol wearing a medallion that matches my son's medallion that I beat it. It's something to be very proud of. Really something that my son's going to remember and that I'm going to remember.
That is so sweet.
Fantastic.
Beautiful beadwork, too.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, what a story. It's great.
All right, Ashley is back with a look at the long range. So how are things looking later on this week?
Well, we're going to have a glorious day tomorrow as far as temperatures go, so it should be nice, plenty of sunshine. But then as we head into Thursday, things are going to start to get a little bit unsettled. Let's take a look at the future tracker. Snow will move in for Labrador overnight, Wednesday into the first half of Thursday morning, and that will then we'll see some showers that will move in across the island as well. But that will be later on in the afternoon. The clouds will move in through the day. And then everything will change over to, or at least mix with, some rain at some point for, or at least through the overnight for parts of Lab City, mainly for the west, really through the afternoon and into Friday morning. Most of the island will see rain through the day on Friday, may mix with some rain or some snow rather in some of those higher elevations. We may even see some grapple with this one. And then as far as the big land goes through the day on Friday, you're going to see that snow change over to rain, or at least a rain snow mix into the afternoon. Then as you head into the evening hours again with those cooler temperatures, that will change over to the chance of some snow. So temperatures will dip a little bit on Thursday, 8-9 degrees as the afternoon highs. We may see a little bit of sunshine for the first half of the day through central, but then mainly cloudy skies will be the story. Again, that rain arriving late day and into the overnight for Thursday. Temperatures across Labrador should stay between 2 to 6 degrees. Happy Valley Goose Bay should stay cloudy through the day on Thursday. You'll see your rain or snow arrive through the day on Friday, and temperatures will be pretty similar. So anywhere from 2 to 7 degrees through the afternoon, and then a little bit of a dip in those temperatures on Friday for eastern areas of the island, down to about 5-6 degrees as the daytime highs, and then single-digit highs for the rest of the island. About 4 to 6 degrees for the northern peninsula. After that, Saturday and Sunday, looking at those temperatures back up into the double digits, and a little bit of sun in the forecast for Sunday, still keeping those showers in at least through the first half of the day. And then as far as Central goes, you're looking at showers both Friday and Saturday, and then into Sunday, some sunshine should return temperatures back up into the double digits. And then for Western Newfoundland, you're looking at about 8-9 degrees through the end of the work week. And then by the weekend, we're looking at 11 degrees on Saturday, Sunday at 9. But unfortunately, those gray skies and the potential for showers will continue. And we, again, may see some flurries in the higher elevations. Now, as far as Eastern Labrador goes, double digits by Sunday, but unfortunately that rain will continue right through to Sunday, and then flurries or light snow, it looks like on Saturday for Western Labrador, and then some showers are back in the mix for Sunday. Wanted to share this photo hiking in Twillingate. Great shot there with that sea spray there. Thank you to Tanya for sharing that one with us. And if you have any weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Yeah, you can see the spray from the wind, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love those shots.
Beautiful shot.
I love when that happens.
So I guess the advice is if you can get out tomorrow and enjoy the nice weather tomorrow, get out and do it.
Because it's, less windy than it has been for the last couple of days. But those areas that are along the coast, because the winds are going to be northerly, it's still going to be a little chilly for you.
I'm getting a Brinks truck and heading to the lumber yard tomorrow to load up for a little summer project I have. I'm making a bread box. And, wow.
Well, it'll cost you a lot more than a loaf of bread now.
Prices of wood, incredible.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us, everyone. Hope you have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.